right.
So, I mean, it's a journey, and we having fun on it.
Yeah.
And this season, because we are having like episodes, we want to keep pushing out there the same type of conversation, but just switch it up a little bit for you guys so you can get the feel of what's going on. And this season we're talking about love and relationships. It's spring, so love is in the air.
Just in the first few days of spring, so happy spring, everybody. Looking forward to the weather changing, getting out and taking walks, maybe some romantic walks.
You gonna take some walks?
I don't know. We'll see.
He's telling y'all to take some walks. He might not take no walks.
No, I'm going to take some walks.
Okay, cool.
All right.
On the riverfront or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we want you guys to take a little time to subscribe. If you're watching, you made it to episode 5, go ahead, click the subscribe button on YouTube, and then while you're at it, we're on Patreon, Facebook, and Instagram. And if you're listening to audio, we're on Spotify, Amazon Music, what is that, YouTube podcast?
YouTube podcast,
right.
Yeah.
And we're on Apple now.
We made it to Apple?
Yeah,
finally?
yeah.
We've been working on that for a couple of weeks now, so finally here. So we legit now. Huh?
When you get Apple, you know, y'all know those iPhones. When you get your iPhone up,
there you go.
That's the Apple.
You're an iPhone snob. Huh?
I'm just saying, just get one.
All right. Sounds good. But yeah, we everywhere now, so.
Right.
You know.
So, we'll be back after this, and I hope you guys are ready for a great show.
Hey family, it's your boy Nev Massey here with Live, Love, Laugh, the podcast. I want to encourage you to join us every week for those of you that are struggling with your love and relationship. I'm telling you, we dive into this section. It's the most talked about that we have on our podcast. It's not the main meat and gristle, but it is something we spend a lot of time on because we believe in it. It's very difficult in today's society to find true love and to have healthy relationships because culture is just driving so many different narratives. Man, it's crazy. Well, we're going to bring on some licensed therapists, some love relationship coaches, and other couples and get some testimonials. And we're going to do all that we can so that we can start loving better and enjoying our relationships with the significant others. So join us every week at Live, Love, Laugh, the podcast. And we'll see you on Patreon. We'll see you on YouTube. We'll see you on Facebook. And we'll see you on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thanks for listening.
Back. Let's get the show started. So what we got on deck, AJ?
We're going to sip on this. On this. So I know you guys have been watching social medias, all in the news, that Jonathan Majors and Megan Good got married this week. They got
married, huh?
Yeah, they got married.
It was quiet. They kept it quiet.
Well, they did look like they were ready. I think they were talking about it, but nobody knew it was actually going to happen. You know what I mean? I thought they would get married. I didn't think it was going to happen this quick, but I thought.
Well, what I mean by them keeping it quiet, it wasn't any pre-announcements or anything about it, you know?
It was quiet. I believe that they got married at their home.
Yeah, his mom married him. She a pastor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was cool.
Right, so both of their parents was there, and it was them. They didn't have like a whole audience of people, just, you know, immediate family, which was cute. And he was on, was it, what's that show? Was it
with Sherry Shepherd? Is that her name?
Sherry Shepherd.
Yeah.
Yep. And she was asking him, you know, how he feels, and he seemed really genuinely happy, and that's cool because they've been through a lot already as a couple.
I'm happy for both of them. I guess for both of them, they done found love the second time around. How long she been divorced from that pastor dude she was with?
I believe it was
years?
Yeah. I think it was quite a while that they was divorced, and he was a pastor and he was like a CEO of a executive of a movie company.
Oh, okay.
So
that's what's up.
I don't know why they broke up, but I did see her, and she was on a show, and she was talking about how she was a good wife You know, it wasn't anything diabolical in the breakup. It didn't work out.
I don't remember anything salacious coming out when they went through the breakup. I don't remember hearing anything crazy about either one of them, so I guess it was mutual. Just didn't kind of work out, huh?
I thought it was kind of like, well, Megan Good, she's beautiful, obviously, and she was kind of sexy. I thought she was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I thought she was too sexy for a pastor.
You don't think first ladies should be sexy?
I think that first ladies are attractive in a more covered up type of way. You know what I mean? And Megan, she liked to show a lot of her, you know, a lot of skin.
You don't think he liked that?
The pastor?
Yeah.
Sure, at home. But, you know, I'm taking you to church. Like, is you wearing that?
You think she was dressing like that?
I don't know what she was doing, but when they were on the red carpet, she was sexy.
Yeah.
And I don't see that first lady. I've never seen a first lady dress the way Megan Good dressed. And I'm not saying that she wasn't first lady material. I mean, women, she not slutty or anything, you know what I mean? But for a first lady, I've never seen that. They usually like cover their necks.
Her neck wasn't covered.
Her neck, it was a lot that wasn't covered. So I mean, who knows if that even played a part? And don't forget, she's an entertainer. She's an entertainer. I haven't seen a lot of her movies. She did do Divorce in Black, that Tyler Perry movie, which was really good. But I haven't seen a lot of movies that she played. To me, she gives me model vibes. She's beautiful. So when she's on the red carpet, I'm looking at her acting. I don't know. She did good in Divorce in Black. But I can't say that I was a Megan Good fan, like watching all of her shows. But like I said, she gave me model vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that pastor could keep up with that. You know what I mean?
I think he got remarried. He's in another relationship now too. Is it Shaq's ex-wife he with?
Really?
I don't know. Let's table that. I need to look that up. I'm not sure about that. You know, I'm getting.
Because I don't know her name, but she did what, Basketball Wives or something?
Yeah, she did.
So I'm not too sure about that either. But I didn't know he was in another relationship. When I tried to look up, things about him, I didn't see where he was remarried. But I mean, I didn't ask that specific question, so it could be. So
it could be wrong.
Yeah.
But good for Jonathan as well, especially how that situation went down with that ex-girlfriend.
Right. She was crazy to me. It was nuts. I'm happy for him because it seems that he went through a lot, and I think he got blacklisted or something. He definitely got fired by Marvel, and I was so happy. He played in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was
on his way.
What's his name? Can?
You talking about the film festival?
The Conqueror.
Oh yeah.
And Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was the villain, and he did a really great job. I love Marvel, you know. And then he was He Who Remains in Loki, that Disney series I was watching, and he did a really good job in that. I liked him for Marvel. I was looking forward to the next things, so I was kind of sad when they dropped him.
Well, you got to look at the dynamics of that relationship and who he was accused of putting his hands on or assaulting. That relationship and who he was accused of putting his hands on or assaulting. That was bound to happen. And just when his star was about to shine bright.
Right.
But that was kind of crazy.
Right.
I don't know if he did it or not. I just know when I saw that video, she chased him all through Manhattan.
She did.
That?
She was chasing him. So he got found guilty of assault and harassment.
Wow.
But she, in that particular video, but I think it was several counts of it. It wasn't just that one particular incident, because it was several counts of assault and harassment. So I mean, but she was chasing him like she wanted all the smoke. He was running from her.
He was running for his life.
He was
trying to get away from that woman. So,
but it was funny because it's funny. I'm sorry, I laughed. They were playing video. She recorded some of the things that he was saying, and he told her that he wanted her to be more like Coretta Scott King. That's how she's supposed to act.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I'm like, man, how did you pick this woman and you want her to be more like Coretta Scott King?
She couldn't do that. It was impossible.
Right, it was impossible. It was no way that woman was gonna be, like that.
Right.
So there you go. Then now you got a woman.
Now he got Coretta.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She can be sexy as she want to be.
Sexy Coretta, right?
She can be sexy Coretta. She don't have to, put a turtleneck on.
Right.
Nah, because I swear I feel like that might have been the problem. That might have been one of the problems.
You don't think he could get past that, huh?
I'm not. So I think with church people, it's not about what they feel like specifically. It's the image. It's an image thing. Like what they care about, what other people think about them.
Sure.
How you represent yourself, and it might have been whispers because when I saw them, and I'm not even in their congregation, but I was like, dang, he a pastor? And she dressed like that? Like, so you can imagine what the actual congregation might have thought.
Probably
you
a
know
lot
what
of
I mean?
whispering going on.
Yeah, and what is a 7-day Adventist preacher?
I don't know.
So, right, that sound deep.
Well, it do sound deep.
Right, and that's what he was.
Okay. Well.
Or is. That's what he is. He's that type of preacher. I'm not sure. We have to look and see how deep that goes. What type of, spiritual movement is that? But I do really feel like they weren't a match because she had to be herself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And like I said, she wasn't whorish or anything like that. She's an entertainer. She's model type. She's beautiful, so they don't cover up everything.
And she was young, she was a little younger. Women tend to, when they look like she do, they want to show off a little bit. So, but whatever, she landed on her feet. Obviously,
she did.
And Jonathan, he landed on his feet. Right?
I think he in something else. Like he's actually out, and he's been on several interviews. So he putting himself back out there. So I see that they probably gonna jump back on, and people is behind Jonathan. So he might not be blacklisted for long.
Well, I hope not.
He might not be a Marvel star.
Yeah, that shit probably is gone for good. But who knows? But I hope so. He's a good actor. I like his acting.
I do too. Yeah. What was that show he played in with Journey Smollett when they did that series?
Dang, how could I forget that? I love that series.
Yeah.
Man, it was on HBO.
So look that up, y'all. Look that up, the series that Jonathan Major played in with Journey Smollett, and watch it. I can't think of the name of it, but if you just Google Jonathan Majors and Journey Smollett, I'm sure that it'll pop up, and you guys can watch it. And it had some hidden meanings in it.
There was a lot of hidden meanings in it.
Yeah.
It was real. They had a lot of spiritual things going on. That was a good series. I watched it. I just, it's crazy. I can't remember the name of it because I tuned in, and the fact that they didn't do a second season, that sucked.
It did. Yeah. And you know what? Journey Smollett was in the news this past week or so. She got a divorce, and her ex, they were saying that he wants all of her childhood movie money.
Did he really say that?
That's what the headline said.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like he want all her money. And she like, I made that money when I was a kid.
Hey, he can't get that money.
Yeah.
That was before they got together. For some reason, that I need to hear him say that.
I don't know. It's like our Nev on the streets was saying these men out here taking these women money. look, I mean, come on, look at what's the homegirl?
Mary J.
Mary J. Yes.
Yeah.
He want all her money. He like pay alimony.
Yeah, he want a lot of it.
I'm thinking, wasn't he her manager though? Like, he was her manager. Why can't he find another person? Like, find another, because he managed Mary good, right? Obviously, he was a good manager.
He's probably gonna get another Mary. You know what I mean? That was.
Did you see Mary went viral this week, y'all? Mary went viral this week because the way she was dancing at her show. But y'all know Mary can't dance already. Did you see that? I brought Mary up, so I wanted to bring that part up. But she was kind of dancing like she was drunk or something.
She always danced like that.
I mean, she was really. And then the headlines was reading stuff like, when you're tired of dancing to your own music.
Wow.
Mary get down though.
Yeah, that's the girl.
She get down. So I guess she like, my bars is, I don't need to dance. My bars explain it all.
She could never dance, but it don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't matter. So, but shout out to Megan Good and Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
And
I think they make a good couple.
Yeah, I wish them a long, happy marriage.
He cried a lot though, Megan. He cried. You gonna get tired of that?
You don't think she know that already?
She know, but she ain't tired of it yet. She not tired of it yet. I'm telling you, Megan.
That's probably not a deal breaker.
I hope that it's not. I'm saying have patience for that crying man. He cry a whole lot.
She know what she got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, at first it's okay. And I'm not saying lead a man, Megan.
What you saying?
I'm saying at first it's okay. Men should cry. But about everything, no.
How you know he cry about everything?
He just cry on everything. He cry every time somebody asks him about Megan, or when he get on the stage and he's being thankful or anything. He just cry. He just start tearing up.
He might be a man that's in touch with his feelings.
Maybe he's super in touch with his feelings. I like Jonathan, so I'm not saying it as a diss. I'm saying it like, Megan, have patience with that man.
She got patience.
Because sometimes too much crying is too much.
What's too much crying?
Every time we talking about something, you gonna cry?
So you think that's what happens behind closed doors with them?
It might. I'm saying he cry a lot, like in public. I can't imagine he don't cry in private. That's where people cry at, mostly in private.
Well, we don't know what he's doing behind closed doors. And when he talk about Megan, he cried because I guess he love the woman. Ain't that what y'all want? Huh?
What, somebody to cry all the time?
Because he's so happy. He's so happy when he think about her, it make him cry, brings tears to his eyes.
Do you cry?
We're not talking about me.
Well, speaking of that, let's talk about you. Here, sip on this. Sip on this so that I can ask you some questions.
Uh-oh. I ain't gonna cry, that's for sure.
Don't cry. But do you cry?
All men cry.
I'm saying, is crying something that you feel that men should do often?
I think they should do it as often as needed.
Okay.
So every man is different.
So you saying some men don't need to cry that much?
What I'm saying is every man should cry as often as he needs to.
Mm-hmm. And no matter if that's in public or just at home crying.
Personally,
Is that depression?
Personally, I wouldn't do it in public. Personally, that's something I would do. Well,
those could be happy tears, right?
Could be, but
he don't look happy when he doing it though.
Who don't?
Jonathan don't. But have you ever had happy tears in public?
No. Not in public.
But you're very adamant about...
I'm just saying, every man's different. There's nothing wrong with a man crying. Women say they want a sensitive man. I hear that all the time, And so he seems to be a sensitive man.
You hear women saying they want a sensitive man?
I've heard many women over the years in my adulthood say they want a man who's sensitive, in touch with his feelings and emotions.
I feel like that should be put in context, because like, what's sensitive? You said put in touch with their feelings and emotions. So, and we're not gonna go, I just really want to understand that whole dynamic, because a lot of times people don't want men to cry, but that's not healthy. Like, I do think men should cry. It's not healthy, and when they don't cry, you know what I mean? And they have a lot of this energy that's, they wild out when they don't let certain emotions out. They might wild out more, but they've been taught that men shouldn't cry, which they should. But some men cry a lot, too much. I don't think that men should cry as much as women. Do you think that men should cry just as much as women? Because some women cry a lot, and nobody say she cried too much. You know what I mean? So do you think that men should be able to cry as much as women?
I think I'm going to stick to my original answer. I think a man should cry as often as he needs to cry. You know.
What if it's every day? Is that like he need to go to some type of therapist? It's women that cry every day, right? They crying every day. They going through a season and they're crying every day, and they're crying as they need to, right? I have had points in my life where I have cried for days in a row, like days. Do you think men should cry for days? Like, is that normal for men?
Well, before I answer that question, when you cried for days, did it help?
No, I felt awful. I was crying because I felt awful. Crying didn't help anything. It just made me feel awful.
You were just crying to be
I
crying?
was miserable, so I cried. You know what I mean? Sometimes people have a lot on them, and
you cried every day? I cried
every day.
So if it was a man who was miserable, right, and he cried every day, you would have a problem with that?
I mean, if I don't see it, I wouldn't.
No, if you seen it, you would have
a
problem with it?
If I saw it, I would. If I saw it, I would have a problem with that. Like, you're literally crying every day. It's not helping. It didn't help me.
Okay, but you did it.
But I did it, yeah. But nobody saw it.
Okay.
Nobody saw it. So if a man was doing that and I actually saw that, no, I wouldn't. I would be like, oh my God.
So you would think, was he weak? Or
I would think he needs a therapist. He needs a therapist.
He probably do need he probably needs a therapist.
Because women and men are built differently. So if you on the second day of crying and you're a man, then you should probably do something about whatever you're crying about.
So I just heard you say if a man cry every day, he needs a therapist. Does that apply to women? If it's a woman that's crying every day,
it depends on how long she crying. Now, I cried for 4 days. I'm not going to say why I cried for 4 days. But at the end of the day, after that 4th day, it was like, girl, please. Like, come on now. Get up. Go out. Shake it off. You know what I mean? Because this too much. It doesn't help. Crying doesn't help. It doesn't.
It doesn't, huh?
If you're crying happy tears, it feels good. But if you crying sick and sad tears, crying don't help.
I think crying is a release for some people.
Yeah, it's releasing sadness, but you're still sad after you finish crying.
So, who's the judge of this?
The person that's crying. If it didn't help when they cry, you're still sad after you're done crying. Your tears are just dried up now, but you still want to cry, like you're still sad. When you cry, you're not still sad after you cry? I
don't think crying is intended to end the sadness.
Right, so it doesn't release the sadness.
It's just a release of whatever the pressure is, right? So some people cry, you know, that's a form of lashing out, right? Some people punch holes in walls, right? to release the pressure. You know what I mean? People do different things to release the pressure.
Right. So if you crying and punching holes in the wall, you definitely need a therapist.
There you go.
I'm just saying, you definitely need a therapist.
No, we're gonna agree that folks need a therapist if they're crying like that, a man or a woman, right?
So what about do you think sadness in a relationship? So you're in a relationship and you're sad for days. Is that okay?
That's life, yeah. Yeah.
So it's okay to be sad. You in a relationship, you're sad for days, obviously, or if it's about the relationship that you're sad about. How do you work that out? How do you work the sadness out? Do you communicate in that relationship, or you just continue to? How long do you stay sad?
I don't think there's a number on how long do you stay sad. Depends on what it's about. You know what I mean? What if in a relationship you lost a child or something? You know what I mean? It's no number on how long you stay sad. You know, and there's no science to it. I guess you stay sad as long as the whatever it is bothering you. You know.
Well, I don't mean being in a relationship and something traumatic happened, like losing a child or something. I mean directly between the two people. You're in a relationship and it's constant sadness, or you're sad for days. How do you work that out? How do you communicate solving that sadness problem? Like,
well, I would imagine you talk about it. You know, hey baby, I'm sad about X, Y, and Z. What can we do about it? What can we do to fix this? I mean, how else do you you get through it? You got to talk about it, right?
Right. So all the time people don't receive. So you get these relationships, and some people been together for long periods of time. Some people been together for maybe a year or two. Some people been together 10, 20 years, right? So obviously they've worked through their sadness more times than, because every relationship has its ebbs and flows, right?
Right.
But when you're in a relationship and it's constant sadness, how long do you stay sad before you realize, is this the relationship? Because everybody, you can't just go up to them and say, hey, let's talk about this. They might blow it off, right? That's not a healthy relationship. So what's the best way to communicate with somebody that is hard to communicate with? You know what I mean? Because why are so many relationships ending fast? And a lot of relationships end after kids come, or just, I've been with this person for 5 years or 3 years and now the relationship has ended. So what is the controversy between a long-lasting, healthy relationships, or some relationships is long-lasting and they're not very healthy at all. So how long do you deal with sadness or not being able to communicate before you check out? Or do you just don't check out?
I really don't know the answer to that question. I'm really stumped. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what that number is, as far as how long do you stay sad. And then I think a lot of it depends on, well, what are you sad about, right? That would dictate how long you stay sad, per se, but I really don't know what that number is, And what's the the context? What's going on?
Well, I think because you asked me, do I think men should cry? Like how I feel about that. I think that men that cry all the time, even when they're happy, they're criers. So now they're gonna cry when things are sad too. All the time it's crying.
I think deep down you got a problem with men that cry.
I don't, but I do have a problem with men who cry often, like all the time. I don't think that that's normal. a problem. Like, everybody cry. Like, if you hurt your foot or something, you might tear up some, you know. But if you constantly crying all the time, that's not healthy. And that, I think that would cause a relationship to be unhealthy.
Because the man crying all the time, not the woman crying all the time.
If the woman never crying and the man crying all the time, yes, that's a problem. Yes, that is a problem. If the woman never crying, but the man is always crying, that's not a healthy relationship. It's not. Because she gonna be looking at him crazy like, these are things that she's not crying about, but he can't handle these things. What?
So let's reverse it a little bit. What if it's a relationship where the woman is crying all the time, or often, and the man's not crying? Is that a healthy relationship?
It might not be healthy for her, and something might not be right with that either. It might, but women sometimes are emotional. Some women are emotional, and I guess some men are emotional as well.
Yeah.
But it's that respect level. Like, I think that women need to be able to look to their man as a source of strength, because we are emotional. So if I can't look to my man as a source of strength because I got to be stronger than him all the time, that's a problem. That's not a healthy relationship. But if a man is with this woman and she crying all the time, like, what is she crying about? Like, it's trying to get to the bottom of it. Or maybe it's a reason why she's crying. You know that stuff is not equal between men and women. It's not. So we can sit here and be like, oh, why can't a man do it? Why can't a woman do it?
This is 2025. I thought women wanted to be equal. Y'all fought for equality and things like that?
Not that equal.
Strong and independent, and you got your own money and homes and cars, and you'll travel. Y'all globe trot by yourself. You know what I mean?
So if a man come to rob the couple, the woman should just jump and help fight the man.
Well, I mean, if you look on social media these days, there's a lot of women out here kicking butt and shooting people. You know what I mean? Y'all strong now.
Okay, so you would let your woman fight the robber man?
We're not talking about me.
I'm just saying, would you? I mean,
no,
if we equal.
I would not. I absolutely would not. I'm still a traditional man in many, I'm still traditional in a lot of areas.
Hopefully nobody experienced the robber where the woman got to just kind of jump out and help her crying man. No. I'm just playing. But no, I do think that men should be able to cry, but I think it should be a cap on it.
But it's a number on it.
It's a cap on it.
So let's, one time?
No, not like that. If it's something to cry about, please cry.
Okay.
But if you're crying all the time...
I'm trying to get to the bottom of what's all the time. What is that? What does that look like?
Okay, today I woke up and... I'm grateful today. So I'm thankful to the Lord. Yeah, okay, I'm going to cry. And that's fine, right?
Right.
That's fine. Tomorrow, something didn't go my way. Now I'm going to cry about that.
That's too much?
I just cried yesterday. I just cried yesterday. Now today, I'm waking up, something didn't go my way. Instead of solving it, like, I'm going to cry some tears, right?
Right.
Or I just have all these bad flashbacks. So now every time a flashback comes, I'm going to cry because this happened, right? That's therapy. That person needs therapy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because how many things do people cry about? Like, just all the time. If you constantly crying. Like, I literally saw Jonathan Majors. Every interview he was on, he started crying. Like, you cry at every interview? Like, everyone. I have not seen this man talk without crying.
Okay. Well, I don't know. The man is probably in touch with his feelings, so.
He real in touch with his feelings. And, I mean.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's not, but he cry a lot.
Can a man be strong and be a strong man and protect his woman and all that stuff and cry? Could those two things exist at the same time?
Probably so, yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's what he is.
I hope so. I like Jonathan.
Okay.
So I'm not saying he a wuss or nothing. I'm just wondering what that's about. Like, I'm just curious.
And he's been through a lot the last couple of years. So,
Right.
He probably glad he came through it, pretty much unscathed. So that might be the emotions that he's displaying as well.
Just relief.
Just relief. He almost lost his career, behind that relationship that he had. I don't know. But, two things can exist. A man can be strong and sensitive at the same time. That's what I believe. Right?
Okay.
You don't believe that, do you?
Yeah, sure.
You don't sound convinced.
I mean, sure. But I just think if the woman have to be the strong one all the time and she constantly watching her man cry, that's not gonna work in a relationship. It's a respect thing. Okay. So, sometimes I think women lose respect for men who display too much weakness.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Often.
I can definitely believe that. So.
Yeah. So how am I going to treat you? How do you treat a person, your man, that's all the time crying? You're not going to treat him like he's a strong man. You're going to treat him like he's very sensitive, right? So it won't be the respect that's needed to sustain, to me, a healthy relationship.
Duly noted. I hope some of you fellas out there taking notes.
I mean,
don't be crying.
Not all the time. Cry sometimes. Because, if it's something that you're hurting about, you should be able to come to your woman and, what's that song? Last night, me and my woman, we cried together. You know what I mean? Okay. That's a real thing.
Yeah, it is.
That's a real thing. And that it's needed at times. But if I'm the stronger individual in the relationship, then I'm not going to probably treat the person right. You probably not going to treat a woman is not going to treat a man right who cry all the time.
All right.
So,
do you think, I was reading something about this recently, about just being in love and out of love. Do you think that's really a thing?
What you mean?
You often hear people say, I'm in love with my man, I'm in love with my woman. What does that mean for a woman? What does that mean?
That I'm in love?
Yeah.
I think in love is, I don't know, you worry about that person, or you constantly think about that person, all the time. Did they eat? What, what they're doing? Where are they? The day don't go by without a call, maybe a few times. When you're in love, I think when a person in love, they want to talk several times a day, not just once, or, love is a strange thing. Yeah, I do think people can be in and out of it. You mean in relationships?
Yeah, in relationships.
So, like long relationships, yeah, I think that you can fall out of love and then fall back in love, sure.
I just wanted to get a perspective from a woman on that,
Yeah, I think that, especially if it's a long relationship, I think people go through things. So when you going through something, yeah, you're not in love right now, you're angry. You don't want to talk, you know what I mean? You don't want to talk. And if it's days of it, you don't want to talk 3 times a day to somebody you mad at, or, that's the out of love stage. So
is that like a daily thing, Does this happen on a daily basis where you falling in and out of love with somebody?
I think it just depends on the ebbs and flows. Like we were saying, how relationships go through ebbs and flows. So, one moment it could be bliss. Next thing you know, it's a financial problem. Next thing you know, it's a communication problem. One of the other people is tired of somebody leaving their socks on the floor every day, and you got to pick them up, or anything. It could be something petty or something very serious. And it just caused rifts in a relationship. But when you in a long-term relationship or you're building with somebody, it's not perfect all the time.
Right.
You know, sometimes you don't want to be bothered, and you know what they say, like, sometimes you maybe attack the person who's closest to you, right? So you harder on the person that's closest to you. Outside in the world, you treat those people nice.
Right.
But inside, this person that you feel like, oh, they not going nowhere, or you get comfortable or complacent with that person, then you just, you know, you're not as loving all the time. You know, sometimes you might need a break. You know, I was telling a friend of mine that one thing about having children in a marriage or with a couple that's together is that both parents are always with the kids. Like, it's never a break. Married couples, or, you know, couples that live together with kids, they never get a break. Or couples that just live together in general, even without kids, they don't get a break. You don't get to go sleep somewhere else for a couple of days. But when you seeing somebody day in and day out, sometimes it's a break that's needed there. Especially when it's kids, so you can't send the kids to the father like, oh, it's his turn to keep the kids. Sometimes parents need a break. You know, and sometimes when you living together, it's important to keep the relationship fresh and date each other outside of the house, away from the kids. You know, that's very important, because you want to just nurture the relationship and not get tired of it. The day in and day out, same thing.
So, to your point of needing a break sometime, if someone came to you in a relationship and you're married or whatever, and they say, you know what, I need a break from you for a couple days or a few days or a week, and I'm gonna go sleep somewhere else. How would you respond to that?
So I think money in a relationship is important. Okay. Because I do think that people should be able to take breaks. But you can't take breaks if you broke, right? You don't have no breaks. Where you going to go sleep at, right? But if you got money in a relationship, maybe that's the time to take a girl's trip or, you know, a guy's trip or, you know, go to a game with your homeboy or the girl go to a play or something with her homegirl. Those are breaks away from the person, right? Okay. So if you want to sleep somewhere else, you go on a trip. Where you gonna go sleep? If there's a fight,
I'm gonna go rent me a room 5 miles away.
If it's a fight,
that's cool.
If it's a fight,
no, not a fight. Just I just need a break.
No, you don't just get a break. But if it's arguing or some type of fight or something, I think people should be able to go cool down or something. Okay. Go sleep somewhere. If you got money, you can just rent a room somewhere if that's what you're doing. Renting a room somewhere and not going to the sad chick or the sad dude, you know what I mean? But you definitely should be able to break away from the drama for a second. Sometimes cooler heads prevail. Once you are able to leave the situation and think about it, you probably come back, you know, after you realized maybe you wasn't right, or maybe you was right and the person that you left at home realized that you were right and my man left because I was tripping. But if it's an argument or something like that, you don't really realize it in the heat of the moment. But if your man is like, I need to get away from you for 5 days just for nothing, just because I just don't want to be around people.
No, not people. I don't want to be around you.
Right, so that's a problem.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's a problem. That's like you don't want to be around your mate just because nothing happened. I just want to go sleep somewhere else.
I just want to go sleep. I want to miss you.
No. You can miss me like when I'm at work or when I'm hanging out or something and not at home. But if you just feeling like, oh, I need to miss her, she's getting on my nerves, that means it's just something's not clicking.
Something wrong.
Yeah, something's wrong. So what about you? Do you think that's okay? Like, your person can just go take a break?
No, that's not a good idea. Because you do stuff like that, you open yourself up, you open the relationship up for nefarious things to take place. So I don't think just willy-nilly, I need a break from you. Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Yeah. Because, I mean, nefarious like what? Go find somebody else to stay at the hotel with you? Yeah. I mean, if you need a break and nobody did anything to anybody, you probably do want to date somebody else. You know what I mean? Because nothing happened. You just don't want to be around that person. So I think if in those situations, that's probably not your person. When you feel like I just want to just because break, the kids not getting on your nerves, the woman not getting on your nerves, you just want to get out the house. Or you know how sometimes I hear people saying, like, my husband came home, he sat in the car for an hour. People have said that, like multiple people. When I get home, I want to come in the house and see my family. I want to see my husband, my kids. The kids might get on my nerves. But, you know, you want to see your person. You don't want to sit in a car for... Why are you in a car for an hour if you're not on the phone or something talking to somebody? You don't want to stop the conversation. I could see that happening. But just to sit in a car because you don't feel like going in to your home and dealing with the people inside, that's not healthy. That's not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And those are breaks. Like, when you need a break, if you're feeling like that, it's problems going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. Wow.
So.
Yeah, this is... Oh, I'm sorry. I cut you off.
No. I was going to ask, do you ever want to start an argument? Like, do you ever just want to argue? It's been no arguing. You ever just want to start an argument?
I've never felt that way. And I think that, because I don't like arguing per se, I don't think people like arguing. I just think people want to be heard and want to be right. Right? And so when that gets challenged, then that's when the arguing begins. But I really don't. I have a hard time believing people like to argue or
I think
want
they
to
do.
start an argument. You think so?
I think some people like to argue, maybe not all the time, but when you say something that you know could potentially start an argument, you're ready for that smoke. You're ready for that smoke. Or you see the conversation is going in a rabbit hole, but you like, you know, doing a little tap like your little sister, your little brother used to do to bother you, to, you know, rile it up a little bit. Like, I'm not done talking about this. You know it's heated. So instead of trying to go back and revisit how to get your point across without the tension, you just keep it going. I think that's wanting to argue.
I just don't believe in that. I just don't think people want to argue. People just want to get their point across. So to your point, maybe they need to find a better way to get their point across.
Right.
But just starting an argument for the sake of starting an argument, I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around that concept. Who wants to argue? Just, I'm right, you wrong, you know what I mean? And let's move on, right?
I guess I've wanted to argue.
Really?
I've wanted to argue, like, when something made me mad. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, because you want to fuss. Like, you want to argue when something upsets you. You don't want to talk about it nicely.
Oh, you want to yell about it?
Yes. Sometimes you get angry, so you want to fuss. Like, you want to argue. You want the smoke. Like, oh, I don't like how this happened. Like, it's not in a nice way. Sometimes it's not, can we talk about what happened last night? Sometimes it's like, well, what happened last night?
So those times when you've wanted to argue, or let me put it this way, if you go into a conversation with the intentions of arguing and the person, they acquiesce to what it is, your point, you're like, oh, you right, no problem, I'm sorry. You still want to argue?
They're saying that because they don't want to argue. I've done that too. Like, I do that too. Like, okay, I'm sorry, because I don't want to argue. But when I want to argue, no, that's not good enough.
That's not going to work.
No, because you just want me to shut up.
So there's no apologizing?
No, because you need to know how angry I am, how upset that made me. So, I mean, I don't think that the argument should last forever, you know what I mean, or carry on for days or be angry for days. Sometimes you got to get something off your chest. Like, I just need to get this off my chest right quick, and I don't want to say it in a nice way because you pissed me off. So let's deal with it I want you to see my aggravation, how upset that I am, and it's an argument for a good 5 or 10 minutes, and then it's like, okay, what's for dinner?
So then when you engage that argument, and when you start the argument, your person engages that argument, and you want to cut it off in 5 minutes, and they decide they're going to up the ante and keep it going.
Well, I'm only going to argue if I'm right.
So do you get to decide when the argument is
yes.
over?
Yes. If I'm right, if I'm the person that's right, yes, I get to decide when the argument is over.
So I agree with your point.
Right.
I say, you're right.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You say that's not good enough.
Right.
No,
so you wouldn't say that's not good enough, because it is, but you just keep arguing.
So
because
now
you're not done getting what you said, getting it off your chest.
So now I'm not trying to get in the tree. That's why I'm telling you, you're right. I'm sorry, blah blah blah. But you keep going. So now I'm in the tree.
But you shouldn't be in the tree if you was wrong. You should take the beating. And you know what I mean, after the 10 minutes, or after, if you already was sorry 3 minutes into the argument, then you should still be sorry in 10 minutes. It shouldn't be, oh, I'm not sorry no more because you fussing. That's crazy. I'm not done explaining my anger, so I need to continue to talk about it, and I'm still upset, so it's coming out as an argument. And if you were sorry 3 minutes in when you didn't want to hear it, you should be sorry 10 minutes in when I'm ready to wrap it up.
So the whole point of you starting an argument is you need to get something off your chest.
Right.
You need to release something. Right.
Yes.
And that don't make you toxic or crazy or nothing. You just need to get something off your chest.
I don't want to physically fight. Well, I have wanted to physically fight, but if it's not a physical fight, why would it be toxic?
Because you said, I made the point earlier that some men cry to get stuff off their chest, right? And you like, oh, that Negro weak. No respect there, right?
I mean, but we also made the point that men and women are not the same. I believe in gender roles.
Okay.
I definitely believe in gender roles. I work, but I think it's sad that women gotta work and not just be housewives and take care of the kids.
Women fought for that, right?
I know, because they was stupid. They was stupid. Now I gotta get up at 6 o'clock in the morning because that woman was stupid and wanted to be away from her kids. You know what I mean? And now these days, 2 incomes is much better than 1. 2 incomes is better than 1. So even if you have a guy that's paying all the bills and everything like that, I mean, it's hard out here, right? So even if your guy is paying all the bills and, taking care of the house, it still should be more money coming in, because guess what? He got to pay all the bills. Now he got to take you on dates. He got to, pay for everything the kids need. That's a lot on one person, it's, especially if you like a middle class home and not, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's a lot on one person. So 2 incomes are always better than 1. And I think the same way, like even if you're rich now, because things cost so much. So if we're rich, we live in this rich life. Why isn't the wife rich too? Or why isn't the, husband rich too? And we both bringing income in. Now, what you decide to do with that income is, well, how we gonna treat your money? How we gonna treat the man's money? Okay, he paid a mortgage and the majority of the bills. The woman is in his kids. Then the woman should pay for the kids' clothes. You know what I mean? Go take them shopping. She working. Right? All of that, I don't think all of everything should be on one person. It's crazy, especially if it's two incomes. But back to that arguing thing, I think some arguments is meant to happen. Like, they have to, because you can't always go into a situation nicely when you're not feeling nice. You feel like you got wronged.
You need some satisfaction.
You need some satisfaction. As long as the argument it doesn't get physical or last for too long, because then it's toxic. If we arguing for an hour, or if it's 2:00 in the morning and I'm sleepy, and we can't solve anything, and that's not.
But what if you started to argue?
If I started that, I don't start arguments at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
I'm asleep. I'm asleep. I might, I don't. It's not if it's an all the time thing, like that's what makes your person want to sit in the car and not come in the home, come inside the house. There's no peace there.
Right.
If it's an all the time thing and somebody wants to argue all the time, that's toxic. But occasionally I need to get something off my chest that, something happened and I want to get it off my chest. I'm angry about it. That's not all the time. Like, are you making your person angry all the time? That's toxic, right? So if I'm coming in, I'm arguing every day, you got to sit in your car, because as soon as you go in the house, it's going to be an argument. That is toxic.
I've had days when I pulled into a driveway and sat in the car, but it wasn't necessarily because I didn't want to meet or greet the people inside the house. Just sometimes, life is lifing and you need to sit and woosah. So,
I mean, it's okay if you don't want to take the negative energy into the house, but it's not okay if you don't want to go into the house with your people. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be an argument. But okay, so we wanted to sit there and have that live, love, laugh conversation.
Talk about love a little bit.
Relationship.
Different nuances in love. So,
leave some comments. Let us know what you think. If you guys are having those, some of those instances where you want to start an argument, we want to know, because I want to know that I'm not the only one who does that. Because I want to argue about that today. Not tomorrow, but just for 10 minutes today, and then we don't have to revisit it again.
Right.
Okay? But thank you guys for joining us.
We appreciate you very much. We really do. Just hang with us. We building this thing, and we really want you all to come along on this journey.
We're looking for a couple who's been together in a relationship, long-lasting relationship, and want to come drop some nuggets on, how your relationship has survived. You don't have to give us any personal information. Just, a little bit of advice on how you guys are handling things, how you lasted 10 plus years in a marriage relationship, and it's still going strong. We'd like to know that, so that we can deliver that information to our viewers who might need to know too. Maybe they're struggling with something in their relationship and they want to be able to figure out how to handle things. Without ending things.
That's right. We want to keep folks together.
So we're going to wrap it up for today, and I hope that you guys go on YouTube and watch our Pop the Balloon for Love episode. It's called What's Poppin'? It's the vibe. That is the title of our Pop the Balloon episode. That is really funny, so please tune into that so that you guys can laugh with us, because We be cracking up on that. Yeah. So that's been our show, and we will see you guys next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on YouTube. Okay? And if you've been watching earlier, we are all on all the other podcasting channels. So please check us out at this point anywhere. Live, Love, Laugh, the podcast.
Peace, y'all.